I'm a content creator
Right.
who uses my social media experience to help businesses create, post, and manage social media. Well, that's only a couple years ago, but like, man, those years are so valuable. Don't care what anybody says. Be yourself, and if you like it, do it. Life is short, so make the most of it, because you never know. None of us are promised tomorrow, and you never know what can happen. Just be yourself. Like, just be yourself to the fullest extent, whether people make fun of you, whether people love you or hate you. Don't care what anybody thinks. Be yourself, because when you're yourself, the best things happen.
What's up, guys? Lift and Love.
Lift and Love here. Where did you pull this question from? Lift Love, crochet, we out. What's up, guys, and welcome to the Lifting Love podcast on my birthday. That's right. If you're watching this, that means it's April 7th, 2025, and today I'm officially 27 years old. Now, what I thought would be a great idea was to have someone interview me and have a podcast about me on my birthday, and I couldn't think of anybody better than a good friend of mine, one of my mentors since moving down here, Mr. Jay Brown with Jay Brown Realtors.
What's going on, Lenny? Happy birthday, number one.
Thank you.
It's a little secret. It's actually not your birthday as we're recording this.
Two months before.
This is not live, but hey, I'm going to be just as excited on your birthday as I am today to be here with you. So happy birthday, 27. So young.
Been a journey.
So young.
You say that, but it feels like it's been like forever.
Yeah. Yep. So, dude, you have a lot of life in front of you. And recently, a father, right?
Yeah, baby,
Okay.
baby. Right as this podcast comes out on my birthday, baby would be a little over 2 months.
He's brand new.
Crazy.
You haven't even taken the stickers off of you.
Is the refund policy still in effect?
Still under warranty, this guy. So tell me about your son. We'll start there.
I don't know, man. It's so weird to be a parent. Like, you say 27 so young. I'm 27, and I couldn't imagine being 18, 19, 20 with a kid. Like, I can't even imagine it now, but I'm living it. So, yeah, I mean, I'm going to give all the credit to my wife so far. I think she's done a majority of the work.
Shout out to Gabby.
Thanks. Huge shout out to my wife. She's the baby's so dependent on its mom in the beginning.
Oh, of course.
I feel like I'm just kind of, I'm just the sixth man. I'm just playing the bench. I'm waiting, timeout comes, I get checked into the game and garbage time and garbage minutes, stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, it's been an experience. It's definitely, I just never thought I'd have kids. In my life, ever. I'm great with kids. I love kids. Like, I just never pictured myself having them. But now that I have one, it's like, and I've said this a couple other times. I've had conversations. It's like, it's reignited that fire. I love the content. I love all the stuff that I do, but it's kind of given me more of a purpose of I'm not just doing content for me. I'm doing content for this little human who I don't even know yet, doesn't even speak, doesn't have a personality yet,
right.
But this little human that is so connected to me, that I love so much, that this is who I'm doing it for now. So it's so weird to be a father, but at the same time, it's like a really weird experience that you can't understand until you go through it.
Yeah.
Like cutting the umbilical cord and holding the baby for the first time, taking my shirt off and just holding that baby to my chest and feeling its heartbeat and, crazy. But I mean, as we're filming this, he's only a couple weeks old now, but hopefully he stays this way. But he's been so good, like barely cries, doesn't really get too fussy. Like he's such a good kid, and I hope that continues for my sake. So future me, if you're watching this, I hope that still remains true.
Love that, man. Congratulations. Big deal. Congratulations, Gabby. I know she's going to listen to this. Changes your life, makes it about, it's not about you anymore, right? And it changes the trajectory of your goals and your ambitions, what you thought life was about, and all of a sudden, everything that used to be about, Lenny and what was around you has now changed to this this little new person that you have. So,
and even more importantly, I feel like the small things don't matter as much anymore. Like, little things of what someone cut you off on the road. Like, I feel like myself driving a little bit slower now. I don't drive as recklessly. Like, if somebody cuts me off, I really could care less anymore. Like, if somebody curses me out at my job, I'm like, doesn't bother me. If somebody says they don't like me, I never could care less about that, but it just makes you not care more, and it makes you care less. Like, I was at the store the other day, like, in the most dad outfit or nonchalant outfit ever, just Crocs, shorts, and a sweatshirt. And
you wear that anyway, Lenny.
Yeah, but like,
I mean, come on.
But like, I didn't even care. Like, I was just like, whatever. Like, like, especially after the birth, like, I'm like on 1 hour of sleep. I'm running out. I think I grabbed like McDonald's breakfast the morning of the birth, the morning after the birth, because I was like hungry, and we're just in the hospital. And I'm like, babe, I'm gonna go out. I'm on like an hour of sleep. I look like crap. I'm shot. I'm in like crappy clothing, and I'm like, I just had a kid. I really don't care.
He's still in that same wardrobe that
I do not have Crocs on today.
No.
I have my shoes on today, just for this special occasion. I wore sneakers today.
I think the first 2 months are like that, though, where you just don't know which way is up or down. Not a lot of sleep. It's a very good experience.
See, I can get over like the not sleeping part, but like I'd rather so like right now we're at a point where it's like broken sleep. It's not like we'll sleep a couple hours and wake up, sleep a couple hours and wake up. And that's more annoying than getting 1 hour of sleep. Like, I'd rather just have a solid couple hours of sleep and be good and up all night than have 2 hours, stop, wake up, 3 hours, stop, wake up. That's the part that I'm even more tired.
It gets better. It gets better. I promise it gets better. And then it gets worse.
and then they start
and then
talking.
It gets better. It's a wonderful experience. Highly recommend it. All right, let's talk about Lifting Love, just the brand in itself. When you and I met, we had this conversation. We didn't go deep enough. So let's go a little bit deeper into, what's the brand about? What's the YouTube about? Where are you at with it? Where do you see it going? Let's get just kind of a broad overview for anyone who's listening and says, what is Lenny? What is Lifting Love? What is this about?
Yeah, I think for me, Lifting Love is everything. I know that everybody says that about their brands. Like, that's how you would say Jay Brown Realtor is, and all the other people who have their own brand. It's like, it's so much bigger than me. It's so much bigger than everything that I've ever done. This is the first thing in my life that I've ever loved and really, really, really went 100% at it. Like, all the other stuff that I've done in my life where I feel like I've gone 100%, I didn't really, like, there's more that I could have given to the craft. Like, when I was a firefighter, I gave 100%, but like, I feel like I could have went deeper. I could have picked up overtime shifts. I could have done this. I could have done that. Like, there's more that I could have pushed it. But with Lifting Love, like, literally, I just jumped into the deep end. Like, Lifting Love for me is everything. And it's in its infancy stage right now, even though it's been 3 to 5. How long has it been? 2020 is when Lifting Love was created. Really didn't do anything until 21, beginning of 2022. But content. So basically, we're in our infancy. We're two companies technically in one. So Lifting Love, the YouTube side of things, is content. I do everything content, from this podcast that we drop on weekly every Wednesday, 8:30 in the morning. Check it out. To street interviews where we just find random people, go different places, talk to, interview people on just, nonchalant stuff that's, not too vulgar, not too crazy, but just lighthearted stuff, to reaction videos where I'm watching other people's content and reacting to it in real time, whether that be music videos, like a Mr. Beast video, or like whatever that looks like. Then I do a thrift series called Thrift Talk, where we go to local thrift stores, and most of them are nonprofits, so we try to support the community however we can. Working on some Nerf battles. By this time, our second, third, and fourth Nerf battle will be out, which is just crazy. And then that's just one side. So I'm a content creator.
Okay.
Who then uses the knowledge and experience I have creating content for myself. And I have a social media agency, which is also Lifting Love, that I have clients for, that I help people post create, post, and manage their social media. So basically, I'm a content creator who also has a social media agency to help small businesses grow their social media. And that's it's definitely a mouthful to say, and a lot of people don't understand it, but I think I've finally found my footing as far as how I need to talk about it.
Sure.
I'm a content creator who uses my social media experience to help businesses create, post, and manage social media.
Trademark that.
Yeah, I mean,
write that down.
I'm gonna look back at this and be like,
hey, I need to write that.
That's good.
So how can people listening to this who love you and support you, how can they support you even more? Do they go to YouTube? Do they go to Instagram? Like, where can we find Lenny, Lifting Love? What would you like people listening?
I mean, I think my biggest thing is I want to grow YouTube as big as I can. At the time of this video, we have.
You're actually going to look it up.
I'm going to look at it. I mean, it's just something so easy to do. We have 12,354 subscribers.
That's really good.
Which is it's awesome, and that's the platform I want to grow the most.
Okay.
Because I don't believe that. There's avenues on revenue that I can create outside of YouTube, and probably more as far as like bigger streams of revenue. Obviously, I want people to do this, work with us social media wise, but to start there and create a platform where we have recurring people coming to view our podcast, and we have recurring people coming to view all the videos that we do. So the biggest thing would be to subscribe to our YouTube. By the time this comes out, we probably have rebranded. So this year, our goal by the end of the year is to be completely Lifting Love Incorporated. So Lifting Love INC. But if I didn't change it, and hopefully I'll edit this out. If I didn't, it's Lifting Love Reacts, at Lifting Love Reacts on YouTube. But if it's not Lifting Love Reacts, it's going to be at Lifting Love INC. Kind of going to just umbrella everything from the podcast to the content, everything we do. But yeah, if you could follow us on all social media platforms at Lifting Love Reacts or at Lifting Love INC, whichever it is by that time. If not, surprise, spoiler, that's what we're going to be changing it to. Instead of doing all these different things and having the podcast and the foundation and all this stuff, I'm really just going to make everything into one. Lifting Love will probably end up becoming a nonprofit.
Very cool. Very cool.
And
what's the message?
Lift, love, crush, hate.
Yeah, that's it. Love it.
No, the message is we want to create content that not only a kid can watch and a parent can feel comfortable with their kid watching, but a place that really anybody can watch content, like depending on who we have on as far as our podcast, or we're going to a thrift store and finding really cool stuff and having these Nerf battles that we're going to get the community involved in, like all these different avenues. Like everything about Lifting Love is the community. And right now I'm working on trying to figure out how to get Lifting Love more involved with the community. And I think content for us is the way. Like everything that we do, it's content. And there's no other answer besides content. Right. So like, how do we get involved in the community? We go have these Nerf battles at the Crawdad Stadium. We go to Caldwell County and we have these Nerf battles. And right now, by the time this video comes out, this will all be over. But just had a phone call last week with the rec center director, assistant director, whatever. They're going to help me get like almost 70 kids for this Nerf battle. And then like we have the Crawdad Stadium. So basically over 100 people are going to be a part of these Nerf battles. And it's all going to be here in Catawba and Caldwell County. So that's something I'm super excited about. But the message really for Lifting Love is just inspire people, man. Like there's too much going on in the world right now for just for you to be hateful. Like love your neighbor, love the people around you, because life is so precious, man. Yeah. It really is. Like we're here for what seems like such a long time. I equate how people look at time to how we looked at it in high school. Like tomorrow seems like forever away, but it's like that. Yeah. And so life is so short, so let's make the most of it. And for me, it's content's always the answer.
Love it, man. I think we share the values of how important positivity, love, community is. And that's one of the things I really admire in you. When you and I first met, two things that you'll learn about Lenny when you meet him. Number one, he's a big personality, very naturally communicates with people. I'm a little envious, a little jealous because I have to do this all the time and talk to a lot of different people. And I've had to learn how to do it. And I'm still very, very not as good as you.
If I could, I would actually like to talk about that because
that's where we're gonna go.
Oh, okay. Go ahead. Look at Jay being a good host. Let's go.
I was winding that up for you. So the transition is, you obviously lean towards love. You lean towards the community feel. You appreciate good relationships. Is that something that stemmed from your childhood? And how did you get the personality and to become the person that you are now? Is this something that you've always been this way, or has it been the experiences built up over a lifetime and this is just where you ended up?
I definitely know that I've been like this my whole life. I got to give a lot of credit to my parents. I don't know if they're watching. If you do watch it, I love you. I'm really grateful for both of y'all. But I kind of am like a combination of both of my parents. I'm a combination of my mom's personality with my dad's ability to talk to everybody and anybody. My dad, very much like you, actually, very naturally introverted person, but in a room with his friends, super outgoing personality. You seeing my dad, you wouldn't think he's like the most social person, but then he worked in the Bronx, and in the Bronx, super diverse. Like, I mean, I think growing up where I did was such a melting pot, and a big reason that I have such a big personality is that I can talk to anyone or everyone, regardless of skin color, where you come from, your background, if you're rich, if you're poor. I mean, I have seen and talked to and had conversations with, I'm not going to say every type of person, but a very wide range of people. Like, you should have seen my friend group in high school. Like, we were a bunch of misfits. Like if you looked at us, you'd be like, what the heck? But just definitely a combination of my parents. My mom was like your traditional like PTA mom, always involved in everything. She went to every single sporting event. My dad was an entrepreneur, so he didn't really have the luxury of and he worked nights, so he didn't have the luxury of being around for a lot. But I was super grateful for him. He got me into sports, baseball, and WWE, which are two things. Baseball has kind of fallen off. I'm a huge WWE guy, have been since I could literally remember. But yeah, my parents have done a lot for me, and I really haven't showed them how grateful I am. So if I could take the time now, I'm really grateful for my parents. That's where it stemmed from. But going through my childhood and my school years, I always thought I was such an outcast because I was the guy who could hang out with the basketball team, hang out with the football team, hang out with the emo kids, like hang out with the nerds, hang out with I literally was able to mold and adapt to any group in high school. And then I switched high schools in 11th grade, going into 11th grade, and it was a much smaller school. So I went from the biggest school in Long Island, probably one or two of the number one or number two biggest school in Long Island, to a very small school. That's really where I learned that I was super extroverted, because I talked to everybody. I knew every teacher's name. Yes. I knew just about every kid's name. Right. It's just something that, like, my whole life I've been so extroverted. And for a very long time, I thought there was something wrong with me. Like, I just genuinely thought I was that guy who I used to have a hoop outside of my my childhood home, playing basketball, just shooting all day. Buddies would come over, whatever. I'm waving to every car that goes past, whether I know them or not. That's just who I was. And for such a long time, I thought that I was just a complete outcast. I thought I was the weird kid. It was so easy for me to talk to anybody and everybody. When I was younger, I worked with my dad a lot, so I got to talk to adults, people in their 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s. I'm 14 years old, and I'm able to have these adult conversations. I'd also would like to give some credit to my great-grandmother, who I'm not going to speak much about because I will literally start crying. She was my best friend and my best friend in the whole world, and she passed away when I was 12. But she part of what Lifting Love is in her memory. So, nice. But she was also very much the same way. Super big personality. You walked into the house, you had to say hi to grandma. Yeah. Very cool. But yeah, my parents really were the biggest reasons for how I was, and they didn't give me any limits as far as like, you can't do that, you can't do this. They really pushed me to do anything I wanted to do, and really gave me the ability to see the world in a different light. And I'm super, super blessed for that.
That's awesome. Such a valuable business skill set, communication, being able to communicate with different types of income levels or skin colors or any type of situation you can get into. We had a quick conversation before we started this, and it's such a hard thing to learn, especially for me. For you, I think it comes a little bit more natural, but I think anybody listening to this, if you take some nugget of wisdom from Lenny here, it's okay to be a big personality. It's okay to show up big in room. You're not going to sit right with everybody. I don't sit right with everybody. I'm sure Lenny doesn't sit right with anybody.
Absolutely.
You're not going to sit right with everybody. And what happens with that is you tend to attract the energy that you put out.
Oh, for sure.
And I think that when you put out good energy and it's your energy and it's real energy, then you're going to get some good stuff back on that. So I love that you feed off of the positivity of your parents' commitment to you and their example that they set for you and your grandmother. We've had a conversation about her before.
Yeah.
Was just a pretty wonderful person. So I think that I think it's cool that you take that and kind of embody it and just push it into a brand and a business and who you are. And also, at some point, I think you're going to mold this into, what your family looks like and,
for sure.
and where it goes from there, which is super cool. So,
yeah, I think to just talk on the personality thing for a second, I think regardless if you have a big or small personality, whatever that looks like, it's so hard, especially, for me, it's easy because I personally do not care. And I have not cared for a very long time. Probably since I'm 16, 17, 18, around that age, I really stopped caring what people think because who cares? None of these people affect any of the things in my life. Me and Jay, we've had this conversation.
Yeah.
It's like, I personally could care less if somebody likes me or dislikes me. I think that's a hard thing to learn because the world is so people pleaser type of mentality. But man, be yourself. I wish that I would have known my potential when I was younger. I didn't realize my potential until I was probably a couple years ago. Yeah. And for me, it's like, oh well, that's only a couple years ago. But man, those years are so valuable. Every minute is so valuable. Every hour, every month, week, year is so valuable in life. And it's like if you're gonna waste time worrying about what other people think, that's all you're doing is wasting time. There's no reason to care what Johnny Pan 600 thinks of you online or what John down the street thinks of you down the line or whoever, fill in the blank. Nancy,
no offense, Johnny Pan
Karen,
6000.
Yeah.
Sorry, bud.
But the quicker you can learn to not care what people think, the more successful you're going to be. I promise you that. Whether you have a type A personality or you're an extrovert and you're maybe just have your crew of people that you talk to. And even in these networking events, find the people who you click with. That's how I started out here. Because granted, I'm a big personality, but I was, I could talk to anybody and everybody when I started, but I really did kind of start out with a core group of people, Jay, you being one of them, but we've also had deeper conversations.
Sure.
And you've been such a mentor to me, but it started out by finding your group of people. Once you find those group of people, branch out and get outside of your comfort zone. The problem with me is that I don't really have a comfort zone, an uncomfortable zone. That's probably a big weakness of mine, is that I can talk to a brick wall.
So if you're taking notes on this podcast, first is be yourself. Even if you have a big personality, if you have a small
100%.
personality, learn how to communicate in your personality, in your skin, right? Learn how to communicate well.
You gotta real quick. You gotta go at what you got. That's the best thing that a coach has ever
1,000%.
told me about. I was a shorter guy. I was a bigger guy my whole life. And in basketball, my coach said, "Listen, son, you gotta go at what you got."
You gotta go with what you got. Oh, we need a banner. And then the second part of that is find your tribe. Find the people that feed into your energy. There's several billion people on this planet. And I promise that just because one or two you don't click with or they don't sit right with you, you don't sit right with them, it's not the end of the world.
Let's not even go that big. Yeah. Let's talk about Hickory,
yeah.
right? 40,000 people in Hickory.
Sure.
there's 40,000 people. Have you talked to every single person that lives in Hickory? Probably not. So get out there, go find people. I'm sure there's a Facebook group for any interest that you have. I'm sure there's a
social club.
The social club is a perfect example.
Yeah.
Like there's places that you can meet people and find people. And this is one of the powers of social media that can bring people together. Obviously, there's a bunch of negativity that you could go into, but at the end of the day, social media is a blank canvas that we allow positivity or negativity to come onto. So if you are looking for negativity, you'll find it. If you're looking for positivity, you'll find it. Social media is a beautiful thing, and you can find people and build, like Jay was saying, your tribe.
I was listening to a podcast this morning, and it talked about how much negativity we get fed in social media, on the news, and it said that people that watch the morning news are 27% less happy.
Oh, I believe it.
By the afternoon.
Dude, have you ever tried to watch the news before you went to bed? It is like you might as well just put on like Chucky or something. Like it is like a horror movie. This person's died. New flu, new this, new that. It's unbelievable.
Yeah. You have to tune into the things that feed you, feed your mind, feed your soul, feed your spirit, all those things. And I think as a man, you have to protect what you bring home to your family. You have to protect, your kids. As a woman, your kids and your family. It's very important what you're exposed to.
100%.
I'm not saying to put yourself underneath a rock and hide from the world, but there's plenty of negativity out there, but there's also a lot of love out there
for sure.
that you can find.
Mm-hmm.
And it truly is. It's what you put into your mind. You squeeze an orange, what do you get?
Orange juice.
You squeeze a grape, what do you get?
Grape juice.
Right. So whatever's inside.
Well, actually, I think if you squeeze a grape, you get wine. Is that not?
No, it's fermented.
I'm just kidding.
It's fermented.
I'm just kidding.
But the question is, an orange can't decide what goes in it. A grape can't decide what goes in it.
Yeah.
But you as a person, when you get squeezed and things are tough, what you put in your mind and what you put in your spirit and your soul, that's what comes out.
Yeah.
Right. And you can't hide that. Like at some point you're going to get pressed. At some point in life, things are going to push on you and you're going to find out who you are and what you're made of. And that's why I'm a fan of what you do and the fact that you push that positivity. And you just don't find a lot of people that do that.
Yeah.
Do you know anybody else that goes around and waves the flag of, again, there's religious, I'm sure people can think of, preachers or different religious faces that do this, but just kind of on a non-traditional religious level, do people actually run around and push positivity anymore? And you just don't see it. Mm-hmm. And the world desperately needs that. One of the mightiest powers we have on this planet is love. Right?
Sure.
And I truly believe that. Second to that is probably fear, right? And it's so easy. There's so much fear out there. There's so many people that push fear, push hate, push violence, all these things that you see, and we're all triggered by it so much. And we let our minds just feed on that all the time. Try to come off of that diet of negativity, of hate, of polarization. Anytime I see anything on the news, on the Facebook page, in your neighborhood, if it's instantly polarizing, in other words, it's A or B, one or two, red or white, black or green, whatever it is, it's instantly a turn off for me because I don't think that way, right? And I think that love doesn't think that way.
Absolutely not.
Love is all-encompassing, and it's available anywhere. So not to go down some sort of spiritual rabbit hole here, but again, and I'm saying this because Lenny is a great example of that, and I think it's a good example of, hey, there's a lot of negativity out there, but you can choose a different path and a different message and a different lifestyle that doesn't buy into that. And that's an option. Like, I don't think everybody understands that, like, you don't have to always pick A and B.
Yeah, this is not what I thought I'd be doing. If you would have told high school me that you were going to know how to use cameras and you're going to be a content creator, quote unquote, whatever that means, this is not what I pictured myself doing. And I never really had like a plan, but I knew I wanted to do something that was bigger than myself. kind of funny, lifting love, bigger than myself. But there was also a point in my life where I was not a nice person. Probably, 15 to like 17, 15 to like 16. I was just like angry person. I mean, maybe even younger than 14, but I was just an angry person. And I don't know. A lot of different things that happened. And it's just like, man, it's so easy to be hateful. It's so easy to be angry all the time. But I think I really like learned more about like mortality and like how precious life is. And that's really kind of where like my more positive attitude came from, because genuinely we're not here for a long time. In the grand scheme of things, let's say most people live to 70, 80 years old. 80 years is not a long time in the grand scheme of things. And the universe, the world has been around for what, 4,000 years. It goes by so fast. And I think at such a young age, I questioned mortality and all these different things. And I really got to a point where it was like, man, if we're going to live this life and make the most out of life, you have to be positive. You have to be happy. I mean, you can't just go around the world just walking around being miserable. It does nothing for you. You're going to live a miserable life. The biggest thing for me was you get out what you put in. And that's like such a cliche thing to say, but like, I totally believe in like the universe and like what goes around comes around. So like if you put out negative energy, you're just going to get negative things that keep happening to you, because all you're feeding the universe is negativity. But if you're able to be positive and actually do stuff that makes people's lives better, or you help people out whenever you possibly can, and you put into the world and do good in the world, I mean, what's going to come back around? Good stuff. And it's going to always seem like good things are happening.
Life goes by quick.
It does.
It truly does. And do you really want to spend your days chatting away on Facebook, telling people how wrong they are, right? And again, I'm not condemning anyone for any decision that they make. God knows we have all made plenty. But time is something that we don't look at enough. It's, we all know how much money we make. We all know how much money we save, how much money we have in the bank. But nobody does that with time. Nobody keeps a record of how they spent their time that day.
God, I would hate to go back at like teenage me. I played so many video games. I wasted so much time.
And it's so much more, so much more valuable than money, right? Time is such a big thing, and we just lose track of it, and we don't care, and we waste it, and we spend our days looking forward to tomorrow and thinking about yesterday, when, like, before you know it, that plane's going to touch down, and you're going to be at your destination. So
like one of the coolest things I think I've done so far for content was we went and we interviewed some seniors. They were all between the ages of, I want to say like 50 something and like 90. So we went and we sat with these seniors and we got to talk to them, and on and off camera, like we just had a really, really good in-depth conversation. And a lot of them just struggled with their relationship with time, where it was like they thought for so long that time was infinite until they got to that age. Now they're 60, 70, 80, 90 years old, and they know that they have less time ahead of them, more time behind them than ahead of them. And the outlook on life was so drastically different. But the clarity on life was the thing that really was like, oh my, like this is freeing. Like they were so okay. None of them really had regrets. A couple of them had like, I wish I would have saw the world more. I wish I would have done X, Y, and Z. But none of them were like real big, true regrets. And it makes you just so appreciative of life. Like stubbing your toe on the edge of your bed seems way less like a big thing in the grand scheme of things. Having a senseless argument with your significant other, way less on the grand scheme of things. Getting mad at your dog because he chewed up a couch cushion, that's a prime example. Bobby, no. But life is so beautiful, and there's so many things that you could do with your time, like create your own business, like spend time with your family, like all these things. But people just choose to waste it on negativity. Yeah.
So you're sitting here watching this podcast or listening to this podcast in this moment, and life is going on, right? Your kids are getting older. You are getting older. The day's slipping by. The hours, whatever time of day you're listening to, it was morning just a couple seconds ago, and now it's the evening or lunchtime or whatever it is. To be in the present is where you find love. It's where you find peace. It's where you find hope. All those things are right here, right now, in this moment. And unless you understand and just embrace that, then you start living a lot of hours in the past and a lot of hours in the future. And man, it goes by quick.
It does.
So appreciate what you have. I know you loved your grandmother, obviously not with you anymore. And if you could just go back and have some more of that time, you think about what you would trade right now for that.
Everything.
And that's the way life is. We spend a lot of time thinking about the big things that we want, the big things that we want to accomplish, when like the most valuable parts of our life are going on like right there in front of us, and we don't even know it. So I think that's a beautiful message. I think that's a message of love. It's not about the politics and what someone else is doing or what they have. We each have one life, right? We have one opportunity not to screw this up. And we're really good, at screwing it up. But if we could just slow down a little bit and understand how much we actually have as we walk through this life, as we go through it. And again, that's the reason I'm bringing this up, is because I think that's just a reflection of the message that you have. I mean, that's what love is. It's understanding that the life that you're given, that you probably don't deserve, that it's going to run out really short, that you take the time to appreciate that. Not only appreciate that, but appreciate the relationships, the community that you have, because that's what love's about. It's not about, money and careers and politics and all those things that we all get so hung up on. We get spend so much time on. And really at the end of the day, most of that stuff is it's really just non-consequential to the experience that we have at the end of our years when we look back and we say, hey, what was the best part of my life? Which is my next question to you. So what is up to this point, let me take something off the table, other than having your son, obviously, and other than meeting your Miss Gabby, who's listening to this, what's the best part of your life so far?
That's like such a good question. The best part of my life has been moving out to North Carolina. I know I wouldn't be able to do my business stuff out in North Carolina. In New York, I wouldn't be who I am if I didn't move out here. New York, as much as I loved it and I grew up in it, I just grew out of it. It just wasn't, it's like an ex-partner. It was like, it was going great. Everything was fine. And then you just reach a point where it just stalls out. And it's like, this just ain't working. So I definitely, I wouldn't be able to do to the scale what I'm doing now in New York. So many people, so many just different things. Like, it just wasn't for me. And I always, quick backstory. My aunt moved out to Davidson when I was, she probably moved out when I was like 12, maybe a little earlier than that. But she moved out there. We'd go out there every single summer. I was 14 years old, riding a jet ski on Lake Norman, and I told my mom, I said, I'm going to live out here one day. Not really quite Lake Norman, but Catawba County, and
it borders.
Borders close. But
shout out Cheryl's Ford, Denver.
Once I came down here and I experienced what it was like. There was nothing you could tell me differently. I loved. We came out here every summer until I was 19, maybe, and then she moved to Arkansas. But yeah, the minute I moved, I came out here for a visit. I fell in love with the culture, with the people, and I could not do what I'm doing. I couldn't do to the scale of what I'm doing now in New York. It wouldn't be possible. I was working 3 jobs in New York just to make a living. Like, I was an EMT. I did worked as an EMT. I did what the heck? It's called roading. So I would work with like a DJ company, and I would basically do audio or lighting, and I would help them set up, breakdowns, stuff like that on the weekends, and then I would DoorDash in between all that. So just to make a living and pay my bills in New York, I was working 3 jobs. So definitely couldn't do what I'm doing out there. And so I think the biggest and best moment of my life, besides my kid being born and obviously meeting Gabby, Gabby's completely changed my life in so many ways. And I don't know where I'd be without Gabby, but moving to North Carolina was a big step. Because honestly, I never thought I would. Never thought I'd move away from New York. So actually doing it was so huge for me. But yeah.
Well, welcome to North Carolina.
I love it.
We are happy to have you, bud. All right, so we'll get back to
Miss Gabby.
Miss Gabby. No, Miss Gabby. We can talk about Miss Gabby. Miss Gabby, how did you meet Miss Gabby? Tell me a little bit about Gabby. And did you guys meet here in North Carolina, up in New York?
Yeah, we met in New York. So first off, Gabby is the most incredible woman I've ever met in my life.
Gabby's awesome.
Secondly, we have the most old school traditional way of meeting possible. Well, there may be one or two other ways more traditional.
Okay.
So back in the day, a couple years ago, I was doing events, and we needed flyers. So what do you do when you need flyers? You type in print shops, right? Went to Google, typed in print shop. Staples popped up. I was like, I'm pretty close to the Staples. Let me go. So I walk in the Staples. There was this beautiful curly-haired girl, tall girl, beautiful girl behind the counter. Insert Miss Gabby. And we hit it off right away. I was obviously flirting with her. I don't know if she was flirting back then. Told her what I needed, blah, blah, blah. She worked in the print section. Then she sent me on a bit of a wild goose chase. So, So I needed a flyer. I had it on my phone. I could have emailed it to her. Mm-hmm. But instead, she told me I couldn't do that, and that I would need to put it on a USB drive and bring it back.
Bring it to me in person.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Good work, Gabby.
So I was like, okay, that's great. When's the next day you're working? Hint, hint, wink, wink. Yeah. And she was like, I don't know what my schedule is next week, but I close tonight. Let's challenge accepted. Mm-hmm. So I got a USB drive, went home, put it on a USB drive, brought it back. It was like maybe 20, 30 minutes before closing, maybe a little earlier than that. And we just started talking. She printed up the stuff. Literally, she had to walk me out of the store because we kept talking. Mm-hmm. Then she'll deny this next part, but she stalked me a little bit. I got her Instagram at that point because I was so not looking for a relationship at this point. I was just genuinely having a really good conversation with her. And then she stalked me a little bit. She'll deny that. But then she messaged me on Instagram and was like, so you're not going to ask me, after all that conversation, you're not going to ask me for my number? I was like, So then we exchanged numbers on Instagram, and the next week, I'm in North Carolina. I didn't move out yet. I was in the process of looking at potential fire department jobs. So that next week after meeting her, we're texting back and forth. We can't stop talking to each other. I am in North Carolina for 3 weeks because I went to take a test. I had a physical and an actual exam test. I'm talking to her 10, 12 hours a day. We can't stop talking to each other between texting and phone calls and all this stuff. So I get back to New York after 3 weeks. I didn't end up getting the job, but whatever. It works out better in the end of this story. Then we go on our first date. This is kind of when I knew it was meant to be. We go on our first date. I don't even remember where we were going. Maybe the movies. I really genuinely don't remember. She picks me up, and then she's like, I just got to stop at my house real quick, get changed real quick. I think she grabbed me after work. So I was like, okay. She's like, you can come in and hang out with the dogs.
So let me rewind your story, interrupt you here. So she asked you for the phone number exchange, and then she picked you up on the first date?
Well, hold on, okay?
Just making sure I get this straight.
I had a crappy beater car, okay? She had
Gabby, oh my gosh.
She had a nice leased car.
Okay.
She had her life a little more put together.
All right, good.
Anyway, or maybe I went over. Maybe I went over and we were going to take her car. I don't know. Whatever the story looks like. Okay. I get to her house. She's like, just come in for a couple minutes. I'm just going to change, freshen up. We can head out. The dogs are there. Nobody's supposed to be home. As we're getting ready to walk out of the house to go to our date, her entire family walks in the door.
So you met mom and dad on first date?
I met dad's stepmom, sister, cousin, aunt. The first day.
Gabby, you had him done. Gabby had it finished before it started.
Cooked.
Good job, Gabby.
Yeah. So met everybody instantly. I love her sister. I love her cousins. All that. Her whole family is awesome. And then yeah, kind of just. I mean, I think within 4 weeks I started to move in. Like we were just like inseparable.
Awesome.
And even still to this day, I got the job in North Carolina. I was a firefighter before I left that and started my business. I remember getting a call back from the Chiefs and going, holy shit, I got this job. And, it was all the way in North Carolina, and it was like 1,000 miles or 800 miles away, whatever. And I go to her, and I'm like, so I guess we have to have this conversation. I was like, I got a job offer. I'm supposed to be out there in like 2 months. What you think? That was when we kind of took a really serious step in our relationship. Mm-hmm. And she was supportive since day one. Mm-hmm. And then we had a going away party that I was leaving the week after. Asked her to marry me. Her dad was having a cigarette at our going away party. And I snuck outside so she didn't see me. And I literally looked at him and I said, I love your daughter. And I want to marry her. And I would like your permission. The next morning I proposed to her. Had the ring for a while. Kind of knew what I wanted to do. But the minute she said, yes, let's move to North Carolina together, I was like, that's my girl. Then we move out here. Everything's going great. I get this glamorous idea to leave my job. And Gabby has been nothing but supportive since. And we had a lot of hard times. I mean, there were times where she was paying the bills and, I didn't make a dollar, and now that she's on maternity leave and I'm able to pay the bills and all this stuff, God is good. Such a good feeling, but she's such an incredible woman that I couldn't even, I would not be here without her. And her support has meant everything to me. I've never been with someone like Gabby, like so supportive, like just, oh yeah, you want to do that? Let's do it. Oh, how can we do this? How can we make this happen? All this kind of stuff. And it's been amazing. But all that to say, yeah, we met in a very traditional sense.
Very good.
And she stalked me. Just want that to be known.
Went in for some postcards, came out with a wife. Good job, Gabby.
Might have been the best like $20 ever spent at Staples ever.
Yes. All right. So last couple questions I have for you. We're going deep. I appreciate this conversation.
Are you kidding me? I appreciate you.
So goals, vision boards, things like that. Do you have a vision board?
I had a vision board last year.
Okay.
I crossed off a lot of stuff on it. Not everything.
Yeah. Okay.
But I think the next couple years, I have a vision board for like the next couple years.
What is on your vision board? One or two things.
I definitely want a house. I don't know. It's like such a random thing. I know a guy.
I know a guy.
Jay Brown with Jay Brown Realtors. A house, for some reason, is just on my vision board. Just having a place I can call my own. Really, I want a house, regardless of what it looks like, and then enough property to build a headquarters on there, like where we can shoot content, where there's no, restrictions, and I can have freaking Nerf battles in my backyard and stuff like that. But anyway, a house, a happy, healthy family. I have some fitness goals I want to get to this year. Definitely put my health on the back burner the past couple of years. Last year I grinded my face off. Paid off in a lot of aspects, but my health is definitely something that I need to bounce back. I was in pretty good health at one point. I was in really good shape at one point, and would really like to get back to that. And then the biggest thing is financially. I just want to be able to pay my bills, put a little bit of money to the side, and having a little bit of an emergency fund, and just invest in not only myself but my business. I don't really I'm such a boring person.
Yeah.
Outside of the content I make, I just want a happy, healthy family. I want to be healthy, and I want us to be financially good. That's really the biggest things I'm working towards.
Very, very. It's good goals. Good goals. Stability and family. Like, what else do you need, right?
Yeah, you don't need anything else.
Health stability, financial stability. I think everybody needs that.
Yeah.
All right, and then.
We're flipping to the back.
Yeah.
We're getting to the end of the questions.
We're getting to the end of the questions here. So I'm going to leave the last question open for you, just an open floor to say what you want to say. But if you could give advice to your younger self up to this point, it's the old question.
Yeah.
What would it be? And, you have a son now, so this is going to be a conversation you're going to have at some point as he gets older. So what would you tell this little guy?
Well, I would tell him that, like, I would tell him the same thing my parents told me, like, regardless of what you want to do, I'm going to support you. Like, if you want to be a ballerina, I'm going to support you. If you want to follow my footsteps, I'm going to support you. If you want to be a football player, baseball player, basketball player, you want to be a real estate agent, I know a guy. I'm going to support you 100% in whatever you do. And I don't want my son to ever feel like he can't come to me and be like, Dad, I'm thinking of doing this. I'm thinking of doing that. I'm going to support him 100%. Whether I agree with it, disagree with it, think it's a boy thing or a girl thing, whatever, like, I'm going to support him 100%. Younger self. Golly, there's a lot of things I would say. Eat less. No, sorry. That was me bullying myself. Sorry, guys. I would definitely tell my younger self, probably not middle school me, probably high school me, who cares? I know we go back to this. I'm going to say my piece before we end the podcast, but really, who cares? Like, nobody cares. Like you shouldn't care what anybody thinks. It took me a long time to realize, and in hindsight, there's still people who don't know how to let that happen. But for me, I feel like it took forever to learn it, even though I learned it by I was like 18, 19 years old. But like high school me, I cared so much. Oh my God, it was draining. I cared so much what other people thought. Who cares? Like, it got to a point in college, I was wearing like mixed match shoes, and I didn't care at any point. Like, I thought it was cool, so I did it. So I definitely would tell my younger self to just lean in to whether your creative side, your fashion side, whatever that looks like just lean in, be you, be authentic, because people see that, and those people are going to gravitate towards you. I think it's so easy to be self-conscious, but like, why not just be self-aware and know who you are, and then just live a more fulfilled life? That's the biggest advice I would tell my younger self is, like, don't care what anybody says. Be yourself, and if you like it, do it.
Good stuff. All right. Anything you want to end with as far as words of wisdom? This is your podcast, and I'm interviewing you, so I didn't want to miss any questions or any topics that you wanted to kind of hit on. Any words of wisdom?
I think the biggest piece of advice that I can give to anybody watching this is love what you do. And again, this doesn't have to be, and I just literally made a piece of content. If that is being the best at your 9 to 5, that's fine. If it's being a business owner, if it's going out of your way and just being a good human being, whatever that is, just be the best at it. Not everybody has to be an entrepreneur. I know there's this fancy like clickbait word of, oh my God, entrepreneur, business owner, blah, 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 blah. But not everybody is meant to be an entrepreneur. Can anybody? Yes. But not everybody is going to be successful at it. But what you can do, if you are super passionate about something, is learn how to monetize it. And if you can, great. If you can't, that's also great. Still do it, because it brings you joy and passion in life. And again, just because this word entrepreneur is thrown out everywhere doesn't mean that you have to do it. If you love your job, be the best at your job. Was it Snoop Dogg who said, if you're going to be a burger flipper, be the best dang burger flipper possible. But just love what you do, and I think that makes life more enjoyable. One other thing, again, I'm going to go back to it. There's 2 points I really want somebody to get out of this. Life is short, so make the most of it, because you never know. None of us are promised tomorrow, and you never know what can happen. Like, terrible example, tragic example, but look at the plane crashes we've had lately. Like, those military men didn't expect that training flight, something that they do on an annual basis that is a pretty basic thing that most pilots have to do. They didn't think that was going to be their last night. People on that plane didn't expect to get into a plane crash. Like, you don't know what can happen. So make every moment count and don't take anything for granted, because you can be miserable. You can be upset with the world and be sad and depressed and whatever's going on in your life. But it's what you put into the world is what you're going to get out. And then lastly, just be yourself. Like, just be yourself to the fullest extent. Whether people make fun of you, whether people love you or hate you, don't care what anybody thinks. Be yourself, because when you're yourself, the best things happen. The most authentic way to become this big brand, this big person, this big personality, very simple. Don't give a fuck what anybody says. And you're going to be just fine. So be yourself, stay true to yourself, and love yourself, because that's how you're going to be successful in life. You got anything else, Jay?
Good stuff, man. I second all of that. And happy birthday.
Thank you.
27 trips around this planet.
My friend.
Love you, brother.
I love you too.
Live love. Crush hate. We'll see you guys next time.
Until next time, subscribe wherever you get your podcast. Shout out Jay Brown Realtors one time. Make sure you go check him out if you want to buy or sell a home. Jay Brown is your guy. Thank you for being just such a mentor to me and a friend, most importantly. I really greatly appreciate our friendship.
Pleasure, brother.
But until next time, subscribe where you get your podcast. And until next time, there's only one thing left to do. You want to say it with me?
Sure.
Till next time.
Till next time.
Live love. Crush hate. We out.